you go into other on, well, take my word for it. If you're on the Voyager, I don't want to show you my inbox, but you can hook up to Gmail. I've got my Gmail account going on the Voyager. It works just fine. On AT&T, you're not going to be able to do that, which is, you know, a knock. It just depends on what service you use, but I really wish AT&T would and Google would get together and work out whatever they need to work out so you could get your Gmail on AT&T devices. You can access your messaging features on the Voyager from the front of the screen, the touch screen as well. You can go into the messaging app there, and you can go to all your messaging. You can also go to your mobile IM, mobile email. The Voyager also offers visual voicemail, which is kind of a nice feature. And when you get beyond that, you know, this is mostly, I think, what you're looking at on these devices is using the messaging. But obviously, when you know, there's other stuff as well. You get beyond that, and I think the advantage goes to Voyager in most cases. Voyager has a better web browser, which we'll fire up here. We'll fire up the web browser on Quickfire as well. They call it MediaNet. So let's enter a URL here. Hey, look, it's PhoneDog. Now, neither of these phones, you know, is a full-on smartphone browser kind of thing. So take it with a grain of salt. But go to PhoneDog on both of them. You can see I'm having a little bit of trouble with the touch screen there. So the Voyager loads it up pretty quickly over Verizon's really good EVDU network, high speeds. And you can see actually rendering the page out, a little bit of a challenge because the PhoneDog page is pretty complex. Lots of stuff going on, etc. It's a full-on desktop page. Quickfire, interesting. Give me an error. Let's try that again. So here you can see the Voyager still rendering the page out. Again, it's not like an iPhone, it's not like one of the newer Blackberries, it's not like an Android, you know, but not bad. You can definitely get out to full HTML pages and not just the mobile web. We'll do another page here. We'll go to NY Times and yeah, my Quickfire crashed, which happened to me before when I tried to go to PhoneDog. So we'll take it easy here on the Quickfire's browser, and we will go to NY Times and see what happens. A mobile optimized site. Oops. So here's the New York Times site on the Voyager, and we'll zoom out a little bit. And I crashed that one too. So web browsing, obviously not the strong suit of either phone. The Quickfire renders up the mobile version of the New York Times here. And, you know, it's usable. I think, My general experience with, ooh, look at that, Apple's chief taking a medical leave. There's some news. My general experience with both devices has been that the Voyager does a little bit better with web browsing. You can get to more of the HTML web and not just the optimized web. With the Quickfire, you're going to want to stay within the optimized web most of the time, the mobile optimized web. But there we go, Steve Jobs taking the leave from Apple until the end of June. Interesting. Business stuff aside, Steve, get well soon. Anyway, so I think web browsing a little bit of an edge to the Voyager. Again, you're not going to want to do heavy full HTML browsing on either phone. We'll take a quick look here at multimedia. And so both of them have kind of a media menu. AT&T Music on the Quickfire, Media Center on the Voyager. They both have, you can shop music on both of them. AT&T Store, Verizon Store. The VCast stuff I think is a little bit more robust in terms of shopping music and that kind of thing. The Voyager does mobile TV service. I don't have the TV service hooked up right now. You can see the X and I don't have reception. But you can do live TV, VCast mobile TV on the Voyager. The Quickfire, we'll go to the main menu. You can do the cellular video, the CV streaming cellular video on the Quickfire, not the full-on AT&T mobile TV service like you can get on the Eternity or the View. We can also, if you go into My Stuff, you can play back videos off the phone memory or off an SD card on the phone. We'll look quickly at the music players. And so you get the standard VCast music player here on the Voyager, which if you're a Verizon user, you know what that's all about. And you can do it on the internal screen, or you can do it on the touch screen, although it only works in widescreen mode. On the Quickfire, and again, having some problems with the touch screen on the Quickfire. Here's your music player. I don't know that we have any music loaded in. A little bit slower to respond on the Quickfire as well, obviously. The Voyager, just in general, I think provides a more enjoyable user experience. One of the big things is the touchscreen responsiveness, which we touched on a lot in the video, obviously. The other is that the keyboard is just bigger and easier to use, I think. The Quickfire isn't a horrible keyboard, but just not quite as comfortable as the Voyager. And the Voyager's it's a little bit more refined all the way around in terms of the menus, the way it operates, the responsiveness, all that kind of stuff. The Quickfire is kind of a new device, a new sort of breed of devices, the first in the line of devices, if you will. Whereas the Voyager really comes out of several devices from LG and Verizon, the original V, the NV, and then the Voyager and the NV2. And for that matter, if you don't need the mobile TV service and the touchscreen, the NV2 is also a really great device on Verizon for messaging. Very similar, a little bit smaller, a very similar keyboard that's also very good to use. Doesn't have the external display, or the big external display, has a small one. You've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But another interesting choice. And the thing now is that because the Voyager has been out for so long, you can get it pretty cheap these days. Verizon's selling it for less, but you can also look around on some of the third-party retailers. If you go to PhoneDog.com, we have a whole phone finder, rate plan finder thing that can help you find deals. You can get pretty good deals on the Voyager now. So pricing isn't really an issue when you're comparing the two phones. The Voyager might actually be cheaper. I'm not sure. It depends. Also, if you're looking at what day you're looking on it, because prices change all the time. So even though the Voyager, the top of the line phone when it came out, it's been out for a while. It's an oldie, but it's still a goodie. And whereas again the Quickfire is newer, so they're still I think working out some of the kinks. It's kind of a newer device. If you're on AT&T and you're interested in a messaging device but don't want a full-on smartphone, I'd also encourage you to take a look at a couple other of their new messaging phones that came out, kind of for the 2008 Christmas holiday season. The Slate, Pantech Slate, I think is a really nice device. It's a candy bar type device, so it's kind of, larger but thinner. Doesn't have a touchscreen, doesn't do 3G actually, but for just basic messaging and email, the keyboard's great. And then there's also the Samsung Propel and the Pantech Matrix, which offer up other full QWERTY options. They don't have the touchscreen. Again, the touchscreen, it's a nice feature. The touchscreen on the Quickfire I found to be a little wonky to use, a little tricky, so definitely try before you buy. If you're on Verizon, the Voyager again is a great option. If you don't need the touchscreen, the NV2 is a great option. And lots of rumors kicking around. I got a lot of information about a new LG messaging phone coming out, the 9600. So far as I understand, it's ready to go. They just have to decide when they want to launch it. This is mid-January I'm making this video, so it should be out soon. And that's going to have some kind of a modular system where it's a touchscreen phone, kind of like the Dare, but then it apparently will have a QWERTY keyboard that you can kind of snap on and off the phone if you want to have the full keyboard experience. So there you go. It's a hot category right now, the messaging phones. And the winner of this dogfight, I'd say definitely, is the LG Voyager for Verizon. So if you're in the market for a messaging phone and you like the touchscreen and you have your choice of carriers, I'd say check out the Voyager for sure on Verizon. And also, if you're a Sidekick fan, should be some new Sidekicks coming out this year. I would imagine we'll see a Sidekick with 3G, maybe even a touchscreen, you never know. Whatever comes out, we'll have it for you on PhoneDog.com. And you can hit us up, check out the forums. You can ask us questions about the devices, and also lots of conversation going on. So I'm sure owners of the Voyager and the Quickfire will have lots more to say than I do, because I test all the phones, I use them for a while, I get to know them, and then I have to move on to the next device. The people who actually own them and use them every day, they're the ones with the real knowledge to share with you. So check it out on the forums. For PhoneDog, I'm Noah. This has been the Voyager versus Quickfire dogfight. We'll see you next time.